I am joined by the brilliant Aurora. Thank you so much for taking the time out to come on the show. First of all, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. I'm feeling good. Now, first, I just want to talk to you about your excellent new single, Queendom, that we've been playing a lot on the station here.
Oh, have you?
Yes, definitely. You're on the playlist. Could you just tell me a little bit more about what the track is about?
The track is kind of it's the beginning, most of all, of this new chapter of my book of life, and it's meant to be an invitation to my new world that I'm making on my second album, and it's very important to kind of emphasize that my world is meant for everyone, and it's kind of and Queendom especially is a celebration of everything that is alive, I think, is the best way to put it. You know, the women, of course, and the men also, and the animals, and the planet, and the children, and just everything. It's a celebration of humans and how we are so different, and how that is the most beautiful thing in us.
That sounds like a beautiful place that I would very much like to visit. So we're talking about this Queendom and this world that you've created. What does that look like, if you could describe it?
Well, Queendom is not a place, first of all. It's kind of just a state of mind or an attitude to people, I guess. But if it would look like a place, I think I would have to go with Rivendell, like from the Lord of the Rings. Yeah. I think that would be the most perfect place.
Amazing. Absolutely love Lord of the Rings.
Me too.
I'm a huge fan, so that would suit me down to the ground. It's been out for a little while now. I just wanted to know how the reaction has been.
Good and bad, of course. It's always both, especially the more political you get.
Yeah.
I've always said a lot in my songs, because that's the whole a purpose of a song, I think. But in this, I'm being a bit less, kind of a bit more direct, I think.
Yeah.
And which I am in many songs on this album. It's even more direct, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But of course, for me, it's, every direct lyric has 100 meanings to it. So it changes a lot, like the people who understand the 100 sides of every word, and how everything is a metaphor for something else, and how deep things goes. They love it. And then the people who don't dive in that deep, yeah, and only see like the first layer on top, the lazy people, I call them, they don't like it. I think people are afraid of feminism, which I think, Queendom kind of at first sight is a very, and it is a feminism,
yeah,
kind of anthem, but it's also much more for me. But it has been really good, and it's been really exciting.
I'm really excited to hear your album that you are bringing out. Of course, you brought your debut, All My Demons Greeting Me as a Friend, came out in 2016. 16 years. I know time flies, doesn't it? Do we have a release date for the album yet, or are you keeping it under wraps?
Well, I still don't have any release date. I would love to have one, because I love having like a day to look forward to. It just makes life much better. But I don't know yet when it will be released. I'm hoping within autumn. I don't know if I'm even allowed to say that, but I'm hoping that it will be released in autumn, which, the plans may be changed. I will release it when I've I feel like the world is ready for it,
yes.
or at least the people I have in my small world. So as long as it's the right time, but I'm hoping in autumn.
Well, you all have us on tenterhooks. I cannot wait to hear it. It sounds like very interesting ideas have gone into your album, and I think it's going to be a brilliant second record. I want to just talk quickly about your live shows as well. You played Coachella earlier this year, and I just wanted to know how that was for you.
Well, it's a really big thing, isn't it? Coachella. I don't know anything about the music. I don't know anything about festivals or what people is who. I don't know anything about anything, I think. And it's very but this festival I know about. So it's the first big festival I've actually known.
Yeah.
It is big when I play it, which is kind of fun. But it's always, it's always something with those big kind of milestones. It was very dusty there, and we all became very sick. But it was there was a weird energy on the festival, because it was very what do you call it when you look in the mirror a lot? What would you call that?
Vain?
Vain, yes. It seemed to me like a very vain festival.
Ah, right. So maybe a little bit more about how everybody's looking instead of just going there and really sort of immersing themselves in the music. Yes. Oh wow! I've never been. It's maybe a little bit too expensive for me to fly over there. But yeah, that's interesting. So, have you played any festivals that have been your favourite? Have you got a particular one that you've loved?
Oh, well, I really loved Glastonbury. We did that in 2016. That was really cool. And actually, Latitude I really liked.
Yes.
I really like the English festival crowd. It's really wild, which I'm really into. It's so nice to see people let go. It's the most beautiful thing there is, because I love to do it, and I love to see other people do it as well on my shows. And I can't remember all the names, but there are so many festivals. I guess Lollapalooza in Brazil was quite amazing. Very intense, very big.
Yeah.
So it was not, it was different, because the crowd was less like humans and more like a big ocean, which kind of, it changes the way you interact with them. But it was quite cool.
Well, I've never been to Lollapalooza, but I am a big Glastonbury fan, and Latitude as well. I've been to both those festivals a fair few times, and I think that they definitely suit you as an artist and sort of what they're there for as well. So yeah. Okay, so you're heading back to the UK in October and Manchester. No, in Manchester and London, sorry. I just said in October. Yes. How do the crowds compare here to other places, so when you perform in other countries?
Well, it's always a hard question, that one, because the crowds are, they're different in one way and similar in another way. In Brazil, people are really intense, and they sing along with every word, and they scream. If you burp into the microphone, they would love it. And it's just everything. They're so full of love that they explode, Yeah. And in Norway, they're more like they listen. Maybe some of them lets a bit go in the end of the concert, but they're quite we are quite introvert. Mm-hmm. An introvert people. Yeah. And in England, I feel like you're very, you're very good at being at festivals. When to clap along and when to shout and say, "Whoa, yeah!" It's very you're a very good crowd. And you also listen and you dance, which I really like, the combination of the both of them.
Yeah.
But it's weird how similar, the people, they cry on the same songs, mm-hmm. which is the most beautiful thing. And that's the thing everyone has in common.
Oh, that's nice. Well, thank you so much for speaking to me on the show, Aurora. Good luck with the new album.
Thanks.
Hopefully we'll have that out before the end of the year. And good luck with your shows in October as well. I'm going to try and get down and see one because I have heard many great things about your live performances.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for having me, Rianne.
No worries. Thank you so much. With Running with the Wolves, and I just want to say a massive thank you to Aurora for coming on the show. She is one of the nicest humans I've ever spoken to in my entire life. She called me Rianne at the end. It's fine.